Hi there, I'm Beetlejuice from Reddit's Wicked Edge, and chances are if you're seeing this, you are in the holy cow, somebody gave me classic shaving gear for Christmas, and I have no idea what I'm doing. Or you're one of the long-time viewers and are just lurking to see if I've got anything new to offer. So, couple of things we're going to cover here in this video. I'm going to split it out for the straight razor and the double edge razor as we get a little deeper into this, but let's cover the basics first. Double edge razor, of course, by now you likely know, simply means that you're dealing with a classic double edge blade, one on either side of the blade, as opposed to a straight razor, which is this guy here. Now, I wasn't sure if I was going to talk about this, but I might as well right up front. If you've received one of these for Christmas, unless you're lucky, it's likely not what we call shave ready, which means your first shave is probably not going to go well. There's also the possibility that you are dealing with a straight razor that's from a lower quality, shall we say, production, if not a costume jewelry or costume prop / type razor. We'll get into that later with the straight razor video, but be aware that that could be a problem. Same thing with even the double edge razors. It can be the rare razor, usually the cheaper ones that are subpar or don't work well. The other thing is, a huge thing are the blades themselves. There are an absolute myriad of blades. The blades that work for one person won't work for somebody else. There's a lot of experimentation. There's a lot of trial and error with this to get a good result. So if it doesn't work for you right out of the gate, don't get frustrated. Ask for help. Ask for tips. Keep trying. This takes time to learn. This is not like cartridge shaving or an electric razor. It takes time. So, all of that having been said, let's get to what I'm sure you're more than interested in getting into. Brushes, again, there are multiple types. Just for the sake of simplicity, I'm using a Badger brush. There's synthetics, there's horsehair, I'm sure boar hair, of course, a different animal, but just for the sake of ease, what I have here is just clear water, and your brush hangs and soaks in the water. Boar hair, typically, I've had better luck leaving them to soak for the length of my shower. The other thing is, your beard you want as soft as possible, therefore you want to most likely shave just as you're getting out of the shower. If not, holding a warm cloth to your face for a couple of minutes will soften your beard, hydrate your skin, make it less likely to cut, less tugging, better cut. Not as good as a shower, in my opinion. Again, you hear the phrase, your mileage might vary a lot. It's unfortunate, but there's a lot of factors here, so finding what works for you takes time and patience. Doesn't mean it doesn't work, it just means it's going to take time. So, this is kind of a condensed version of several of my videos. So, oh, by the way, I also don't work with a script, so if I sound like an idiot or if I backtrack on stuff, that's why. Soaps typically come in two forms: hard pucks and soft creams. There's a couple of variants there. There's tube-based creams and so on. This is not the same thing as your spray foam or gel. It's also not the same thing as your hand soap or bar soap in the shower, whatever. Don't use those, trust me. I've done a lot of work trying to find out what might or might not work. Trust me, those don't. So, short version of how to lather. Let's see. Thought I had everything ready. Of course I don't. And I'm just gonna. There's a couple of different ways to lather. There's even a couple more that I'm going to show you, but the short version goes like this. You want to take about an almond-sized piece of cream on your finger, on a hydrated brush, and this will take time. I'm sorry, it's the nature of the beast. Shake out as much water as you need to in order to make the foam. It's better to start with not enough water. It's impossible to remove water once you start blending. You can always add as you go. So, with the cream tucked into the brush, and just perk gently into the bristles. I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to take, and this is not much bigger than a coffee cup. Actually, it's a little smaller than most coffee cups. And you're not trying to scrub the living daylights out of it. I'm just going to add a little more water there because it's a little dry. The foam that you want should be little tiny bubbles. It shouldn't be the huge, cartoonish, Bugs Bunny, lathered out past your nose lather. And again, techniques vary, and it's worth taking your time to practice to learn how to do this right. What I have here doesn't look like I got much in the bowl at all. In fact, it's all packed into the bristles. So if I were to work that onto my face, there you go. Now, even that's a little too thick, a little too dry, but the reason you want your face wet, I'll show you the difference right now. If my face was wet when I did that, here's the difference. That last little bit of water allows you to build a really nice foam. It shouldn't be visible bubbles, it should be just a nice compacted, almost like a meringue, but not quite that heavy. Oh, by the way, yeah, you're going to lose some hairs out of your brush. Some hairs is fine. A lot of hairs over a long period of time, not fine. You may want to talk to the seller on that if that continues. So, to the people who use creams on a regular basis, I apologize, but creams are easy. Puck soaps are a little bit harder. But, there's a bit of a trick. Just a little bit of water dipped on top of that. And let it sit. This is called lathering on the puck. Not everybody does this. Some people work the initial lather and then transfer to another bowl, or work straight off the soap and then into a bowl. This is how I do it. Might not work for you, works for me. Should also say that I have a water softener, and I've been at this for 7+ years, so if I make this look easy, I apologize. I know it's going to be annoying, it's going to be a struggle, but you'll get there. Anyway, you're starting with just gentle swirls, and if you notice, that starts coming up into very large bubbles. That's fine, just work it out to the side. If you find that they're crawling up your brush, just kind of sweep the side of the bowl, work it back down. And occasionally I just bat down the larger bubbles. And this is kind of the reverse of the cream. Cream starts out really flat and builds up into a high foam. This starts off as a really weak foam and then builds up into a really thick, pasty foam. You want to stop before you get to that point. And again, notice it looks a little different. But it still has that meringue-like quality. That's actually still in need of a little bit of love, but you get the general idea. You can work that a bit more to get it thicker. And of course, continuing to knock down the lighter stuff until you get the consistency that you're looking for. There's a third way of doing this, and it's called face lathering. That's where you wet the puck, scrub it onto your face, scrub it onto your face, and then use a brush to bring up the leather. Usually this technique is used with a type of soap called shave stick. I also use it when I'm traveling and I don't want to take a shaving mug or a scuttle with me. But as you can see, you can work up a decent lather as well. That would take a little more time, but the basic principle applies. Now, depending on what else you got in your kit, you may have gotten this funny looking crystal. This is an alum block. You'll want to use this after you shave. It's an astringent. It helps with ingrown hairs a little bit. Helps with little tiny cuts. You may or may not have this in your kit. If you don't, I recommend it personally, but it's not a you can't shave without it. A lot of people don't use them at all. And of course, how is it possible that I don't have that at hand? I should actually feel kind of good that I don't have a styptic pencil right under my fingertips. Ah, there we go. The styptic pencil. This is for cuts that something like the alum block won't cut down, or a larger nick. Say you've cut the head off of an ingrown hair or a pimple. This will help stem the blood flow. Personally, I hope you never need it, but as you can tell, I have one. It happens to everybody. Not a big deal. So, there's the basics of your kit. In the next video, I'm going to do a left and right shave to show you guys how to use both types of razors. And hey, if you got a kit for Christmas, stop by Wicked Edge on Reddit, and if you got any questions, feel free to ask. Anyway, till next time, keep them sharp.